Good morning, everybody. This is Diane. I'm standing in the doorway of my newly cleaned and organized craft room. Much of the organization has stayed the same, but there are quite a few changes, and some of them are subtle changes, but I'm hoping that they will work better for me. And I recently, since beginning of 2022, I've been putting up some organizing videos, and you guys were interested in seeing the results. So this video is going to concentrate on this room right here. I do have an office that has other supplies and my printer and my Big Shot and my Cricut and things. So we'll do that in another video. So let's just start right here. I'm gonna step into my room. I started this video once and I had my phone in my pocket and all of a sudden it started talking to me, like Siri started talking. So I'm starting over. I'm gonna start with the wall here because I use command hooks to hang things, and those little shelves and those little baskets are all by command because nails don't like to stay in these walls. So this pretty little container here contains my tools for sewing signatures into the covers, and I can just grab that. I usually do that while I'm on the couch watching TV, so I have it right by the door. I can just grab it and take it out there with me. And this is just an American Greetings card that I taped up there. These are the ephemera holders that I purchased this one at an estate sale, and then I found a placemat. This was made with a placemat. I found a placemat at a rummage sale, and I made my own ephemera holder, so now I have two, and I keep my stamped images in them. So I did make a video while I made this. It did not take long, and it was pretty simple to make, and they both have baggies full of stamped ephemera in them. And I'm not sure what order the videos are going to be up, but if you haven't seen the video to make that yet, it will be there. Up there I just taped the front of a 1930s McCall's magazine cover. I love that image. I am going to buy a frame for that. And then on these little shelves, these are actually picture ledges. You're supposed to lean a picture on them, but I just put little things on there. This one is actually empty. This one has little punched out flowers and some fabric flowers that I got from Nancy at Wishes and Weeds. And I have a nice collection of metal recipe boxes, which I really didn't intend to start, but I kept finding them, and so I just thought, okay, I'm just going to collect them. So that one has tabbed cards in it. Next to that is a wooden box. It has the trading stamps, like S&H green stamps. That is a vintage box that was made to contain those, and so I actually have some in there. And next to it is just one of these little containers. I think I got them at Hobby Lobby a year or so ago. And it has punched shapes from scrapbook paper scraps. The Bisquick box over there has letters from an anagram game, and maybe other game letters are in there. The Land O'Lakes box has metal pieces for embellishing pages, like pretty filigree pieces. That Tim Holtz paper fasteners tin, I think, is empty right now. And I have this little quote here. If you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. And that is Roald Dahl, and I just love that. It's there so I don't lose it. I might want to do something with it someday. These little plastic containers have, these two are vintage photo corners. They're silver and black and white, and vintage gold stars. This is just a Christmas card that I got from Becky this year. And this is something that my favorite aunt sent to me. It's just some encouragement and scripture. She was very good at doing things like that, and she's no longer with us, but I keep that up there. In the basket over there is my stapler and a punch. It's a Euro hole punch. I don't use it that often, but I like it, so it's there when I need it. That recipe box has the tabs that I punch out or cut with my Cricut or any other kind of tab I come across. And that pretty little bowl I got at Hobby Lobby, and it has paper clips in it, just plain paper clips. This little container here, these are stackable and compartmentalized. Compartments are different in each container, and you can see it's labeled what's in there. Different paper clips, assortment of pins, altered paper clips, and metal pieces. Well, I'll show you what kind of metal pieces I keep in there. It has the hitch fasteners, the rings that you can hang tassels off the spine, little tiny bells, tiny paper clips, all kinds of metal pieces. It's nice to have them in here instead of where they used to be in the office. And then this just has coffee dyed index cards. There's some punches in that basket that I use frequently. Here is my unit that has been here for a long time, and I'm sitting down. On top of it is my carousel for Stampin' Up! Ink pads, which I don't think they carry anymore. And in the top it has compartments where I can put my spray bottles of water and stamp cleaner. And then I just have these drawers. I put some wood on top so that my carousel would be stable. This just has texture embossed cards, pieces of cardstock that I can use, and other large cards. Next is a drawer full of vintage yumminess. It is tally cards and seals and German scrap and old stickers, like really vintage stickers. Really fun stuff. Pockets that I make or are digital. These are just different sizes of bags. Tickets, shipping labels, like vintage shipping labels, and book plates, and vintage tape, vintage Scotch tape that came off, like cellophane tape that came off old papers and books. And I included the little pieces of book spines that I take apart, and a whole roll of vintage masking tape. Of course, they all need to be glued down. They're not sticky anymore, but I like using them. Here I have two containers. This one has Tim Holtz stamps, and they are all in separate little boxes and labeled. And this one also has the little boxes, and they just have ephemera pieces, like the Tim Holtz paper dolls and some digital sets that are in there. It's not that convenient, but it's there and they're organized. This is something new from the last time that I did a tour video. This is a project cart, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trays. And I've tried using it in a variety of ways, and right now what is working is I have my paper trimmers here, and down on the bottom tray are my envelope punch board and a wavy paper cutter that just cuts in different, not straight, it makes a nice wavy line, but I don't use them that much, so they're on the bottom. And this is something new I'm trying. I moved my Tim Holtz ink tin, my distress inks, down here. It is kind of a tight fit, but I had them stacked on the shelves over my desk, and because they were stacked one on top of the other, it was just very inconvenient. So I'm going to try this. If I don't like it, we'll do something else. That's the great thing. You can try things and it doesn't have to be permanent. And then these 3 trays are used for the current project. So on top, right now, I'm going to be starting an iris journal. So I have my one and only iris stamp here. But this tray I usually reserve for stamps and stencils, inks, the brushes that I use for the inks, and anything like that for adding color and images to my pages. This is just my remote for my fan. And then here I can put my signatures that are in progress and just however I want to use that for my current project. Behind it, well, down here is my scoreboard. Behind it is my old cutting mat that's very disgusting looking, but I didn't want to throw it away in case I need it. And my glass mat is right there. This is also new. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and you might hear this rattling when I'm inking, like distress inking stuff, shaking the table a little bit. But this is also kind of a project tray, but I keep pieces of chipboard underneath for making my spines, so they're real handy when I need to get my spines ready. That one doesn't have anything on it right now. And here I just have pieces of white and cream cardstock because I use that all the time for backing things. And when my project gets under full swing, these will probably all be used, but I put my papers that could be pages, so there's papers already here for my iris journal, along with some stationery and book pages, and these are all things that can be used as pages in the book. And this is the book I'm going to be using for the cover. And then here are scraps. So these scraps are left over from the pansy journals, but these colors would probably work well for the iris journal, so they're there. But once I get my scrapbook papers cut, I keep the scraps handy right here. Back there, that corner is tough to use because it's really out of the way, but I have a little plastic container back there that has extra paper clips so that when I am running low on a certain kind of paper clip from that container, I can just fill it up again. My ATG tape gun is back there because it's not being used because I can't find the tape for it. And that other plastic box, I made a lot of these slotted pockets, so they're in there. These little dishes, I love these. Sorry, I'm reaching. I love these little dishes, but I have to stack them because I don't have room to spread them out. But they just have little bits, little digital numbers and things like that, and just little bits that I can use in my journals if I remember that they're there. And then I have this pretty glass bowl, footed glass bowl. It has these kind of stamps and some adhesive flat back pearl type of things that I don't use very often. My pen and pencil jar here. I'm trying something else here. I just did this yesterday. I bought this. It's a makeup brush holder, and I bought it to hold these brushes, but I find that I don't like it because it's just a pain to get them out and put them back in. So I put my foam brushes in there because I don't access them that often, and once I use them, I just throw them away. So I don't need to try putting them back in. My brayer is here. I've got some little memo pads here for when I need to make notes on something. So this container here is rearranged. I put my brushes in here. I'm gonna probably look for a taller something to put them in so they don't just flop around like that. And punches that I use, and my scissors that cut in a stamp perforation type of thing, and my reinforcements. Right here is the journal that I just made. I have to sew it together, but this is the pansy journal. And there is, it's divided into fours, and it holds my rulers, my scissors, some of my sharp tools, and these things, and pinking shears, and my pliers or whatever these are called. My knives. There's my light and my tiny little cutting tool. My pins, I use these just for unclogging glues. This little container I got at Home Goods, and it holds my glues very nicely. I love it. And then in this container I have erasers and a pencil sharpener. And this is miscellaneous stuff. It has a magnet for when I spill my pins, my red tape, some rust-proof brass pins that I got at a flea market. And I guess that's, well, I've got, oh, there's another basket right there that has more punches that I use. This little drawer unit I use for the pieces that I'm going to use in my current journal project. So it's got some iris things waiting in there. Small, medium, and then this one. This could have large cards in it. I didn't show you that I started doing this. I put them right up on top there. And these hold large cards that I can just flip through. It's a lot easier to find what I want than in that drawer. And these pieces, I'm not sure where to put them, but they want to be used in my iris journal. And on top of that is my tablet that I have videos, YouTube on while I'm crafting. And okay, so now let's just go across the table and then we'll go above and below the table. Maybe I'll try to not be so detailed and get it sped up a little bit. So there's this little ledge back here. This table is higher than this, so it's a little drop down part. My husband put this together for me. These tables were from an office that he used to work in. So they're 10 feet together, 5 feet each, and my room is exactly 10 feet wide. So they fit in here. He added metal legs to these tables, and then he added this extension to them. And so it's a little well where all of those tools that I just showed you can fit down in there very nicely. So I have my paper towels there, and now we're at my sewing area. Let's do the wall. There I have another hook that I just put my bucket of Stampin' Up! Markers. It's been in the closet and on the top shelf, and I spilled it recently and had markers all over in my closet, and I had to clean them up, and I thought I really need to get them out where I can actually see them and use them. And I have some more hooks with baskets. This has fabric ribbon, or yeah, strips of fabric yo-yos, pom-poms, and eyelet. There is a narrow window at the top, which you can't really see very well because of the sun coming in, but I have some of my pretties up there. I don't have my china cabinet anymore because I don't have room for it. I gave it to my sister. It was from a great-great-great aunt or something. So we wanted to keep it in the family. But I got to keep a few things. And then I have some more of those ledge shelves. Perhaps I should turn this off. Does that help? Okay. Now, if you saw my video going to the antique mall with my friend, I bought that picture there and I hung it up. I love it. And then I put an extra hook there just to hang this little thing that my friend Jill made for me. It's got, sorry, I think it's a printer's block, and it's got the D for my initial and a little heart-shaped pendant. It's just really pretty. She gave it to me years ago, and now I have a beautiful place to hang it. There's another Land O'Lakes tin. It's a little bit warped, and I don't even know if there's anything in it. But I just have some decorative things up here. Little pin cushion, and this little wooden container has needles in it. But I just love it for decorative purpose. And this is a little plastic container that had a zipper rolled up in it. This has really specialty laces and collars and things like that. And a vintage pin cushion. It's got sawdust in it. And then these floating shelves I got from Amazon. They also hang with a sticker hook. And I found these pretty baskets at Walmart. They were pretty inexpensive. This has velvet fabrics pieces, velvet ribbons on spools, and this has velvet ribbons and silk ribbons. And those shelves, ledges, you've seen these containers before. This has small pieces of lace that fit this length without being folded. Muslin and plain white and cream colored fabrics. Scraps of colored fabrics, and then this goes up there, but I have to sew all these clusters together. That is full of fabric clusters. And the table itself has my sewing machine and this little container with my scissors, and my pins are right here. This just helps me slide my machine around. Behind this machine in the ledge area is this pretty box I got at a flea market, and I think it was a box of chocolates, but it contains my fabric flips that I make, and just other containers here with other fabric-y things. This has small doily motifs and vintage appliques, and this is just actually paper scraps to make things with. And there's my light. And back there I have some cards that I can use to wind thread if I need to, some cheesecloth, some empty card boxes just because they're pretty. And here I keep this little container where I put ribbons and laces that I will be using in my whatever current project I'm working on. That's very handy to have it there. Now let's go under the table. Go back to my main work area. This video is going to be long. This video might have to be 2 parts just for this room. Okay, so this is where I sit, and under the table, that contains scrapbook paper, and this one, it's on wheels and it's slid back. I'm trying to pull it out. Okay. This has archival ink, has my heat gun in there. It's not ideal, but I need it somewhere handy. My distress ink that I use all the time. But mostly this is waterproof ink. Here are all my stencils. My or stamp blocks, I just brought them over to this side. They were behind me, so we're trying this out. And my baby wipes. This isn't very tidy, but it's got my distressing tools and the foam pads, or not foam but felt. And down here are alcohol ink things, and this is my stamp cleaner. And then there's another unit down here, and it has special stamps that I want real handy. This is journaling stamps and word stamps and alphabet and number stamps, and then those 3 are paper pads. Those are scrap papers there, and in that container are coffee dyed papers. Some are scraps, some are full sheets, and my wastebasket is right there. Underneath the sewing machine area, those boxes back there have things like quilt batting, interfacing, things that I don't access a whole lot. And then this has my sewing machine tools, needles, things like that. We have thread and bobbins, and that has rickrack in it. And that one just has my sewing machine instruction book, feed sack fabric, and this is a fun drawer. These are shapes, fabric shapes that I have gotten at flea markets and rummage sales and stuff. And they're kind of organized. I just added these to the top of it, but my Dresden plate pieces, and there are circles and squares and things like that. And then I have that little container that is full of squares. Somebody sent it to me in that container, and I just keep it right there. It's handy. So I think that is that wall. Took us 25 minutes to do one wall, but that's the main wall. So I'm not going to go through the laces and trims because there is a separate video. After I organized all of my laces and trims, I did a video. So I will link that video in the description box below. So that is just one of the units that stores my laces and trims. On top, I have my embroidery floss box. And I've also talked about those stacking baskets. That's the best I can do for these things. They're just linens that are separated by, you know, some have embroidery, some are lace fabrics and things like that. And it's not convenient, but it works. This is just my fan, which I haven't started using yet, but I bet it won't be long. I used it last year, but I haven't started this year. This is my basket full of scraps. You saw me using this in my scrapistry episodes, and these are just some miscellaneous things that came out of notebooks that I want to use. Those dividers from notebooks. This is all crocheted stuff, and I think I showed you this organization after I did that. And this unit has special scrapbook paper. Graphic 45 and Authentique, Tim Holtz, Stamperia, Kaiser Craft, and Stampin' Up. And this one has the really nice, they feel like handmade, thick papers that Joann's was carrying. I think they may have clearanced them all out now, but I have a couple pads. And this is my paper dolls. And that one is just a container full of circus. It says circus and fairy tales. I don't know if fairy tales is still in there. But it's just a collection of stuff for circus journals. And then here, this box has my Craftspire wax things for the wax seals. And I have more coming. I've selected more from them to do more collaborations with them. And then more trim and lace organization that you can see in that other video. This is just my cardstock paper scraps, my buttons, more lace or trim, and I have some stamps. These are my music stamps. I don't have all of these things labeled. I have, you probably saw my label makers on my other table. I have a list there of all the labels I need to make so I can get all of these labeled properly. But these are my music stamps and fantasy stamps. So they have fairies and mermaids and Wizard of Oz, things like that. This just has my layer cake fabrics that I got at the quilt shop and my Pioneer Woman fabrics, along with these cotton crochet threads for binding my books. And this one has upholstery fabric. And I just stuck these in here. These are UFOs. I don't keep a lot of UFOs. If I start a project, I finish it. But for various reasons, these are in here. And so I'm going to include UFOs in upcoming journal projects. And UFO meaning unfinished object. These are leather or leather type fabrics and burlaps. Okay, here's my closet. And like before, I have my shoe holder here with punches. Also some more bling, some millinery flowers, some other flowers. There might be some things in there that somebody gave me that I can hang on the wall. I thought I had something else that needed to do that, along with that necklace thing that Jill sent me. Let's go in here, and this hasn't changed much, so we won't spend a lot of time in here. I have these lights that hang. They need new batteries, but I don't have any more AAA batteries. Over there is all Christmas stuff. Christmas stamps, wooden stamps, and just all my stamping things. Oh, this is brown paper with candy canes printed on it. This is Christmas ribbons and laces and fabrics. And then ephemera stuff is in those containers. These are file folders, my Bind It All and Bind It All supplies, my beading supplies, my spray box. Back there is just some projects for my grandkids to paint. And here, my tripod is hiding in the corner there. This is all glue book stuff right here. It's got stacks of my magazine images and some big books that don't fit anywhere so that I can use them in big journals. And this box here contains little glue books that are finished, just the small ones. I'm going to move my fan to hold this door open. Sorry about that. These are mostly, I've got one in each alcove of the closet, mostly book pages. These are large pieces of chipboard, large book pages, and then I have my chipboard in here that I use for covers and things. Children's book pages takes 2 drawers, but they're not as full as they used to be. So the book pages are all divided up into categories. Collectibles and reference, typing and shorthand and typology, maps, math, science and tech, botanical, fashion, sewing and crafts, and foreign language. And it's my sewing machine cover over there. Funky and magazine pages, pages from art books, miscellaneous. I have 2 drawers of miscellaneous. And these aren't all book pages because down here, see if I can shine some light on it. This light isn't working very well. Small paper pads, unusual materials. So I have cork and grunge board and grunge paper, just unusual things. These all are from the binder books, like crafting and gardening pages. There's an empty one. This is large pieces that I can use in my larger journals, like domestic arts, and that's all corrugated cardboard. This is the organization for all of that vintage stuff that you saw me doing. So it looks very neat and tidy right now. I have greeting cards, note cards, receipts and checks, all vintage, letters and envelopes, labels. This just says Annie because these are all the letters to that Dutch girl, Annie, and miscellaneous. And then these drawers, this unit kind of is wobbly. This just has pretty pictures that I could use for covers. I just wanted one place to keep all my pretty pictures. And the notepads that you can get in various places that I use for journaling spots. These are stickers. I don't have a lot of stickers because I don't use them a lot. Plastic, like photo album sleeves. This is stuff for junky junk journals. This is stuff to make ephemera with. Cards and envelopes that are plain. Bridge and game sheets. Not labels, receipts, and these are vintage things. Bingo cards, and then underneath I have things for junky junk journals that didn't fit in the drawer, like things I could use for the covers, and more ephemera over here for the journals. Those lights that I hang would last a lot longer if I would remember to turn them off when I'm done in here. Okay, so we're done in the closet. I hope I'm not making you too dizzy. I'm trying to move my fan out of the way now so I can shut my closet door. We're almost done. So this is the wall next to the closet, and I have more drawer units here. On top is this box that has homemade ephemera. I have to organize it better. I want to get smaller boxes to fit in there to hold things. But this has an antique wooden cigar box that somebody compartmentalized, and I put my little ephemera in there. I just did that with this reorganization effort. This little stack has embossing powders, my eyelets and tools for setting eyelets. This is like fasteners, staples, tape. Has some fancy scissors too that I don't use that much. Says special because these are tab punches. This book belongs to, and just little word stamps I want to keep where I can find them quickly. And this one, I took out some of the stuff that was in here, so I just have to do something better, use up my space better, and that one's empty. And then all of these are clear stamps, or the cling mount stamps in different categories. I won't go through all of them. There's a box of envelopes here that is all organized. That was one of my early organization videos this year. And these are eyelets, and they won't fit in my... Maybe I'll stick them down here for now. And this is my box from Your Creative Studio that they sent to me, and I did a video just unboxing it, but I haven't done anything with it, and I haven't put it away. This is a box that my Toy Money came in at the flea market. I was so thrilled with this, and I didn't want to get rid of this because look at how nicely compartmentalized it is. I just don't know what I'll use it for yet. And then I have these little stamps here. This is going to go in a bundle after I make any sea journals or ocean journals I'm going to make this year, because I bought this on clearance and I already had it. And I bought this on clearance also, but not this stamp. I bought a different one, same thing. This is the one I've been using, and it is set slightly crooked on there. So I bought the one they had on clearance, and it stamps straight. So I don't have to try to remember to kind of tip it when I stamp, but I'm just going to send that to somebody. And then I have border and corner punches in here. Background stamps, so decorative stamps, and I guess these are all stamps. I put some pretty paper on to make them look nicer because they did have big white labels that had been peeled off and stuff stuck to it, so I just made them look nicer. So there's just a variety. Those are all wooden stamps. And then we're almost done. This is my corner behind the door. I put a hook up here, and this contains my colored pencils and watercolor pencils. And this is not ideal to have it here, but I did have it on my work table, but I found that I don't use all this stuff that much, so it was taking up a lot of space. But I have it here if I need it, when I need it, because I will need it. And these are art supplies, watercolors and watercolor crayons and pastels and things like that. And paintbrushes and Mod Podge, so mixed media. Here are my sprays. There's a room there for more storage. So I kind of rearranged this stuff. This has paints and my resin that I'm going to start learning how to do, and just other supplies for mixed media. This one has novelty print fabrics and some boho fabrics. And then these are all fabric drawers that are labeled. So these are sturdier fabrics that I like to use on spines. Sheets and feed sacks, or flour sacks, I mean. Tablecloths, baby clothes, aprons, things like that. And quilt and patchwork pieces. And right there is my cutting mat, my cutting board for cutting out fabric. So that is my room. I got through it in 40 minutes, less than 40 minutes. So tell me what you think. I think it is an improvement and it looks neater. Destashing really helped lighten the burden in here, I think. I feel lighter in here. There's still a lot of stuff. I will agree with you. I didn't do my shelves here. I did not do this, but not a lot has changed. My washi tape is in here. My ephemera binders are here. My punches, like my corner punches and my big bite, just sheets that I use, guest checks, and things that I can glue onto pages for journaling. This is something I added. I had it for some other purpose, and I found it out in my shed. So I brought it in here for my homemade tags. And it's a little long to fit on there, but it's okay. The feet just hang off. More tags and things like that. This is all postcards and playing cards. This is an old sewing machine drawer. This box contains vintage notebooks and books that I can take pages out of. Seam binding, digital ephemera cards, non-digital ephemera cards, recipe cards, time cards, things like that. And this is compartmentalized. I just have this little, it's a lid from a Mary Kay box, and I just have little containers in there. So it has glassine bags and small tags and just various things that I know are there. I know where to look for them. And up there in the pink basket is my extra adhesives and cutting blades. Ribbons are in the gray. I have parchment paper and wax paper. That vintage wooden box contains all sorts of index cards, and on top of it is this little container that, whoops, I almost dropped my camera, sorry. Little tags. And in that tray are fibers and baker's twines and other twines. In the pink basket, I don't remember. Oh, sorry, silk. And in this are envelopes, smaller envelopes. Okay, so now I think I'm done. All right, yeah, there's a lot in here, but it feels a lot lighter, and I'm happier with it. And just the few added little shelves and baskets that I put up on the walls helps a lot. I didn't mention this one either. This one has my label stamps. And up there is the other little sign that I got when I was shopping with my friend. And there's room to add more little tin signs if I find some that I like. I think that would be fun to do arrangements up there. I've got some space there to hang something. And there, I thought that was a good space to hang that picture because of the shape of it. But I wanted it so that I could see it better. So that goes there. But I'll find something else to put there. All right, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I hope that you got some ideas from it. I always love seeing other people's craft rooms. Thanks for watching, and have a creative day today. Bye-bye.